Hello, this is Sarah V, and today I am going to be making the other part of Simplicity 5308, which is the little jumper that goes over top of it. And I am going to be making it out of this corduroy. And hopefully I have enough. But that's all. It should be pretty simple. It's two front pieces and a back piece, and probably some facings for the neck hole and the sleeves. Not the sleeves, the armholes. But that should be quite easy, and then all the buttons down the front. What? Yes, should get going.
Well, perhaps I should have ironed my pattern because I fought with this corduroy. It was terrible. I haven't cut out a corduroy this thick for a couple years, and I don't remember it being so bad. But it was like any way I pinned it, it seemed like it just wasn't getting pinned right. It seemed like there was excess still, and it was just terrible. And then when I started cutting it, I was like, oh my goodness. It was just, my hand was just dying. It's just so thick. And I really was just chawing right through that with the scissors, and the scissors aren't even dull. It was just like, not a nice experience. Also, from the time I cut it out to the whole time I was putting it together, those little corduroy fluffs and dusts were just everywhere, and I could feel it on my nose. I couldn't find it, but I could just feel it on my nose the whole time, and it felt like cat hair on my nose, but it wasn't cat hair. It was worse than cat hair, because at least with the cat hair you can kind of get it off, but with these little tiny bits of corduroy, they just stick there and you're stuck with it, and no matter how much you rub your nose to try to get it off, it still seems to stay there. So it was an experience. I'm glad I don't work with thick corduroy much. I don't know if I actually mentioned this, but this fabric is from Fabricmart. I bought it when I was in college. And then the lining fabric, which I did not film cutting it out, is also some random satin that I bought at Fabricmart in college. I think I had 3 or 4 yards of it. And I just cut out what I needed. I think I bought it to make slips because I decided in college I needed every single color of slip. Once I started seeing all those little dusts come out of that corduroy, I immediately regretted using that to play with Scooter. Probably not good for either one of us. But he enjoyed it nonetheless, although you can see every single dust mote from the corduroy. Over at the machine, I am starting with my darts, and I am just backstitching at the end of them because this is quite a thick fabric and you're not going to be able to tell anyway. And now I'm doing, I think those are considered either fishtail or fisheye darts. It's been a while. I procrastinate marking them out because I hate marking them out. I hate marking out any dart that's not straight. Curved darts, they're just more work. Not a whole lot more work. It's just something I procrastinate. But I cheated whenever I did the lining because I just did straight darts on the inside instead of curving it. Because it's the lining anyway, it doesn't have to be perfect. And here, I'm just sewing the center back seam. I thought it was going to be on a fold when I picked up the pattern, but it was not. And now I'm serging it, and the serger was like, oh, she did not like how thick it was necessarily. So there's that. I feel like, in theory, it should have been a really simple project, but I feel like it just wasn't the most fun. Like, I felt like I should have had more fun during it than I actually had, if that makes any sense. I also decided that I was going to do the shoulder seams, and then I decided I wasn't, so then I deleted the footage and unpicked them, and now I'm doing the side seams here. But because I was like, oh, well, I'll just so I can sew the armholes with the lining. But then I realized that the armhole facings aren't going to work like that, so I was like, well, I guess I'll sew the shoulder seams again. What else can I do, you know? Now I am able to sew the facings on, and I just pin them in place and sew it to the lining, and then I trim away the lining I don't need. It's much easier than trying to figure out where that facing piece is going to go, patterning, or to sew it with right sides together. It's just easier. And I just edge stitch around there. You can also do it where you turn the edge in instead of serging it and it looks a little neater, but serging it works too. And I did end up doing the shoulder seams for that lining piece, because I realized, yeah, I kind of need the shoulder seams done. And now I'm just fixing that piece because it kind of got off track. And now I am sewing the lining to the jumper, and you can see where I trimmed that lining away. I left like 5/8 of an inch there. And now I am putting in the armhole facings, which I ended up stitching down by hand to the lining after I had done all the understitching that I'm about to do. And it was really hard to see what I was doing while I was doing the understitching, along with the fact that I needed the whole length of my sewing table to be able to stitch straight, because it was just so heavy and it was just a lot. And it's not even that big. It's not like a full-length dress or anything. It ends at like right under my knees. It's not that bad. And now I'm doing the buttonholes, and I got a little bit of oil at the top on that first buttonhole, but that's kind of minor. It wasn't super noticeable, and I kind of got lazy when it came to the hem, especially for the lining. I hemmed the dress up 1 inch, and then I cut off 1.5 inches. And did I cut off 1.5 inches? Yeah, I think I cut off 1.5 inches for the lining and just serged the edge. Overall, I think this turned out decently. I will say that this is really hot because of the lining. Scooter! Apologies. Scooter decided he wanted to walk through the tripod. But yeah, this is really hot and it kind of looks thick on me.
I get some of the shape is supposed to be shapeless, but I have a lot of room in the waist here, and it kind of just makes me look. I don't know. It looks heavy on me with the thickness, and then it just kind of eats what little of a waist I do have because I'm kind of rectangular. So there's that. But this turned out really cute. The dress, it turned out really cute. Oh, and I do have room. I have plenty of room in this. Maybe I didn't need to make it bigger in the waist. It might be more flattering on me. But this dress, I love how this turned out. But I really like how this turned out. And I feel like I don't even need a belt with it. I was too lazy to make the belt, but yeah, I feel like I don't even need the belt. I feel like there's enough definition because this isn't secured at the neck. It makes the shoulders want to slide away because it's not secured. And then it makes the arm size kind of far over on my shoulder. So there's that. But other than that, it's not bad. I could always use more armhole space. Although I will say this bow, everything just kind of gets lost in the print. So that's unfortunate. But the nice thing about the jumper that goes over it is it kind of brings the bow out. Otherwise the bow just kind of, it's gone. I'm back. I'm about a yard and a half away from the camera and I can't really see it. But yeah. I was hoping to get that kitty pumpkin dress done, but I think it's going to have to wait until next year because today is Halloween and I can't wear it in November. Well, I can, but I won't. So I think that needs to be left till next year. Maybe I'll make something with the pattern over the summer or something. I don't know. Or in the spring just to see how it fits because I did cut out a mock-up of it. So yeah. Or maybe I'll just make it in plaid. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. And if you'd like to see more fall sewing content, please subscribe. If you'd like to see what I'm up to date today, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Sarah V Sews Vintage. Thank you again for watching and see you next time.